Well, as you know, we this year for the first time made an explicit commitment to new communities. And a lot of folks are saying, well, why don't you make that same explicit commitment to other communities? Lots of other cities have done this. So Edmonton, for example, explicitly has on their tax bill a certain percentage that goes towards community revitalization of sidewalks and pipes and things in older neighborhoods. I'm willing to look at a bunch of different options. We have funded the Main Streets program for the near future in the latest iteration of the budget. But that doesn't take us going forward. And it is a very expensive program because it really does mean rebuilding most of our major retail streets in Calgary, many of which really need the TLC. So if you can imagine what's going on 17th Avenue Southwest and that multiple year construction process, there are way more of those that need to happen, maybe not to the same extent, but to make sure that businesses can thrive across these communities. And while we've solved the problem in the short term, and I'm happy to declare victory on that in the very short term, it makes a lot of sense for us to have a more long-lasting program and commitment so that people know what's coming in their neighborhoods, particularly in neighborhoods that are accepting a lot more density. You know, what investments are going to be made to make that up.
What do you say to these councillors, of which there will be, I think, more than one, who will be talking about cuts? Either they've told the public they're going to do that, or they've indicated to you, or they've just indicated to us that they call for cuts to the budget. You've gone through this before.
I'm usually the one calling for the thoughtful cuts to the budget, and as long as people are thoughtful, whether they want to cut or whether they want to increase, I'm very happy to have that
but
discussion.
They want to have cuts, fairly significant cuts.
But again, then justify them. It's not enough to stand up and say, cut the budget by 20% and go away. You know, but if you actually can say, you know what, we could have fewer police officers here, we can build fewer fire halls, or we can cut back on snow removal. I'm using specific examples, obviously, but you know, if you want to say that, great. Well, let's have that debate. And certainly there are areas, there always are areas where you can say, you know what, should we be doing this, should we not doing this? But I'll remind you that uniquely among municipal governments, we also go through a zero-based review process where every single business unit goes through this cycle where we reset their budget to zero and say, what should we be doing, what should we not be doing, what can we contract out, and so on. And that's a process we've been undertaking for some time.